Hey YouTube, Mark Gunnison here. About 6 months ago, I started commuting to work by bicycle and have kind of got a passion for it. I really enjoy it. So in this video, I'm going to share how I plan my routes. So I just recently started commuting to work on my bicycle, and I'm going to kind of give some tips that I learned while trying to plan my own route. Since I'm new to this, I think it might be helpful for people who are also new to bicycle commuting. So I found the best way for me to plan a route, at least, is on Google Maps. So here we have Google, and so I've got running from my house to work, and right now it's planning it for a car, so it's taking me on the freeway. The freeway's no good, so we got to go up here and change it to bicycle. So now it's rerouted me, taking it through a park, which I don't think is that great, but let's see. If we go over here and we click this bicycle thing here, then that brings up all the bicycle routes, and so these are bike lanes, bike paths, something like that, and that's the dark green. And these dotted green lines, those are bicycle friendly roads. I don't know how Google determines that they're bicycle friendly, but my guess is it means there's been a lot of bicyclists on it. So this is the first route that Google recommended, and it recommended that I ride through this park, and I've ridden through parks and I've discovered I don't really like that because there's too many people and it's just too slow, and it's just not my idea of a good commute. Now, of course, some people might enjoy that, and so then they would want to pick that, but not me. The second route right here is actually a pretty good route. I've done that before. The third route over here is actually the route that I started with. And this is a decent route, but this road up here has a whole bunch of stop signs on it. And I discovered when I test rode it that I was stopping at like every other block, and it was a little frustrating. So then and you know, that's another tip, is test run your route. And so I rode up there on a weekend and got almost to work, turned around and went back and discovered I didn't really like that route. Another issue is there's a couple hills, and when I was first starting out, hills aren't that great. So then I started looking at some other routes, and I know from experience that this road right here is not that busy. And so if you use Google, or this little Google guy, Street View. Okay, so there's Allen. So I know from experience this road isn't that busy. It doesn't have a bike lane, but it has multiple car lanes, and so it's pretty easy for someone to just pull over into the other lane and go around me. And I'm only on this road for a couple of blocks, so I figured that shouldn't be a problem. And so Street View is very helpful. So then after I kind of get something figured out in Google, I move over to Strava. And I use the free version of Strava. I don't pay for their summit. I highly recommend Strava. I really like it for a lot of reasons other than just route planning. But here is my old commute on Strava. And one really nice thing about Strava is it shows you your elevation changes. So it kind of gives you an idea how much up and down you're going to be doing, which when you're first starting commuting, that's very important because you don't want to be all sweaty when you get to work. Now, another big advantage of Strava is if you go up here, you can turn on what they call the global heat map. And what that does is it shows you where other people have been cycling. So if we zoom out, all these red lines are just other routes that people have taken on Strava. So you can see downtown Portland, there's a whole bunch of people riding bicycles over there. Not quite so much over here in Beaverton, but it's very helpful because you can see, you know, like this road over here is very highly used. This is that street with all the stop signs. A lot of people bicycle on it, so apparently the stop signs don't bother other people as much as me. You got to be careful though, because like this road right here, you can see some people have been cycling on it. There is no bike lane. There's a lot of traffic, and there's no shoulder. So that's not what I would call a bicycle friendly road, and that's why it's important to pre-run your bike routes. So once you've been commuting for a little bit, you're probably going to want to try various routes riding home because you're going to get tired of kind of going the same way. And so one thing that I found is very fun, that I really enjoy, is finding these longer routes home. So for example, here's a route that I just planned the other day. Haven't had a chance to ride it yet, but it takes me through downtown Portland, then over to Lake Oswego, and then home. And so some weekend, if I have to work and I kind of feel like taking a little break on my way home, I'll take this long route. So that is how I recommend planning your bike route. Is start with Google and just kind of change around until you find a route that you like, and then transfer that route over here onto Strava and then go ride it. You definitely want to test run the route if you're new to bicycle commuting. Test run it both on your bicycle, and before you test run it on the bicycle, I would actually take your car just to see if the bike lanes are as user friendly as the route shows them, because you'll find some bike lanes are just not as friendly as others. So the other thing when planning your route is right-hand turns are a whole lot easier to make than left-hand turns, especially if you're having to pass over traffic. So for example, this is an intersection that every morning when I commute to work, I either go straight. This is my old commute here. My new commute, I have to actually make a left-hand turn. And this is a very busy road with 4 lanes of traffic. And so when you're on the bike lane over here, you're going to have to cross 2 lanes of traffic in order to get into the turn lane. And if you're doing that in the dark when it's raining and there's a lot of traffic, that's absolutely no fun. So what I found, though, is if you go straight through the intersection and then just wait here until the light changes, then you can go straight through this intersection and you're not having to cross traffic. And I use that quite a bit. That makes it a whole lot easier on these busier intersections. It makes it more enjoyable, and I think it's a whole lot safer. So that's my tip for planning a bicycle route. I just recommend getting out there and giving it a try. You'll find that, for me at least, planning is almost as much fun as riding. So I hope you're enjoying bicycle commuting as much as I am. And as always, thanks for watching.